While most of us are dreaming about how we can help society, Paul Ryan is dreaming about how the hell he can hurt society. Let's talk about the drug testing of welfare recipients that has been proposed again on the federal level by Paul Ryan, Speaker of the House. And me and Max, we I can't call it an argument, but we kind of have a little ongoing debate whether or not it's fair to call, not fair, but whether or not Paul Ryan is a sociopath. Paul Ryan is a sociopath in my book. Right. He has no regard whatsoever for the implications of his actions on other people. He has no connection whatsoever to his own personal hypocrisy, being a recipient of a safety net to help him go to college. But at the same time, while he's in college, dreaming about taking away care and benefits from the most marginalized in America. He's a sociopath. But he's made a proposal, and I think we have the image, and he sent the tweet out earlier. Let's pull that up, about drug testing. And he says, another one heads to President Trump's desk. This legislation allows states to have drug testing to receive federal unemployment benefits. First of all, I love his language here. It allows states to receive, to get drug testing in order. No. This is him saying, in order for you to get this, right? This is not a bonus. This is not like something we're doing you a favor. He's trying to make it so that in order for states to get federal unemployment, they have to drug test recipients. Number one, it has already been proven in many states, and I can go down a couple of states, Arizona, Kansas, Mississippi, and this is according to Think Progress. 7 states with existing programs, including Arizona, Kansas, Mississippi, Missouri, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Utah. They're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to find a handful of drug users every year. I remember in Florida, where I come from, Rick Scott. He doled out millions of dollars to a drug testing company that he had relationships with. And they found, I think, less than 2% of the population that they tested actually were drug users. So the evidence so far is overwhelmingly against this stereotype that they're trying to imbue onto recipients of safety nets. But it's not even really about, it's twofold. The real purpose of this program is to put money into the pockets of drug testing companies, many of whom Republicans have relationships with. That's number one. But number two, it allows this perpetuation of this narrative that people who receive benefits or people who are poor are somehow inherently morally bankrupt. And because they're morally bankrupt, that's why they're in the situation that they're in. And they're in the situation they're in because they're morally bankrupt. Therefore, if they're morally bankrupt, it should not be in the government's purview to actually help them, when all they really have to do is stop being morally bankrupt, stop using all of these drugs, stop having sex outside of marriage, stop being a single mother, stop all those things, and everything will work out fine for them. This is really what it is. It's a two-edged double sword for them. They're able to put money in the pockets of some of their donors, and they're able to vilify poverty as well as safety net programs. Ultimately, they're coming after the safety net programs across the board. They want to gut them. And I don't want you to think that this is hyperbole. I want you to hear it out of the mouth of Paul Ryan himself. This is Paul Ryan speaking last week about what he dreams about. While most of us are dreaming about how we can help society, Paul Ryan is dreaming about how the hell he can hurt society.
You have been very clear for years, and we've seen compelling PowerPoint presentations about how the entitlements growing out of control is driving the country into a ditch on the debt.
Yes.
And we have a president of the United States who basically seems pledged not to touch entitlements. Where does that leave us?
So it's the healthcare entitlements are the big drivers of our debt. There are 3: Obamacare, Medicaid, and Medicare. 2 out of 3 are going through Congress right now. So Medicaid, sending it back to the states, capping its growth rate. We've been dreaming of this since I've been around, since you and I were drinking at a keg.
I was thinking about something else. He was thinking about reforming Medicare.
I've been thinking about this shit for a long time.
I've been thinking about this shit for a long time. This dude's a sociopath. Like, who sits around and dreams about how you can gut Medicare, gut Medicaid? It's because he grew up on Ayn Rand. I can never pronounce her name right. Whatever. He grew up on her philosophy. Who, much like Paul Ryan, is a hypocrite in that they lived off of the government. They were recipients of the social safety nets. But I digress. He has grown up on this ideology and he has fixated on it, and he's dreamt of this since he was in college. And this is your Speaker of the House. Now, that's one story. The other story is what we started on, is that how he's using this as a means of vilifying poverty. And I want to just give you some stats about this national drug test use. So the national drug use rate in America, the rate is 9.4%. So 9.4% of Americans use drugs. In the states that were tested or that had this requirement for people who receive welfare or people who receive safety net benefits to get drug tested: Arkansas, Arizona, Kansas, Mississippi, Missouri, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Utah. In those states, the rate of positive drug tests to total welfare recipients was between 0.002% and 8.3%, all below the average rate of Americans' use. So it's creating a problem, or it's focusing America on a problem that really is not inherently inherent to the targeted group. In other words, it's making you target drug use on poor people, when in reality, poor people are probably too poor to afford drugs, right? They're trying to give you this mental image of people who all they do all day long is spend their money and their time trying to find drugs instead of trying to find work. In reality, people who are poor, who actually go to get unemployment benefits, they're going to get unemployment benefits because they're literally in between jobs. They're literally trying to find something to hold them over until they can get the next job. And Paul Ryan and his, I'm not going to cuss tonight. Paul Ryan and his Eddie Monster looking ass is really just looking for a way to vilify and hurt the most marginalized in America. And he not only wants to do it, but he gets off doing it. And that's why I suggest to you that Paul Ryan is indeed a sociopath.